Okay, so now we are exploring the themes and the art of Francisco Goya. One of the most famous Spanish painters. His art is pretty recognizable and easy to attribute. There are two main themes that I think, are pretty obvious to identify, which is that he is very concerned with fascination of extreme pain or suffering, and a lot of his artwork makes commentary on political power and or Spanish society. And a lot of that is, in critique with, or in critique of the Enlightenment's aims not delivering on their promises. So we see that in some of his works introduced, Los Caprichos in particular. This is really, sharp criticism of a lot of different elements of Spanish society, the clergy. There's a lot in relation to superstition. Um, there's a lot of messaging and a lot of opinion on society embedded in this series of images. Also, we have the 3rd of May shown. That I think has a really strong relation to my artwork I chose this week, so I wanted to introduce it. It's a really powerful image from the 3rd of May, which is dealing with the occupation and fighting of Napoleon and his troops after his betrayal. This image I think is really powerful in the way it centers that Christ-like figure who has his hands up and really in that moment of action is we unfortunately know what's going to happen to him with that firing squad faced directly at him. So yeah, both of these I think really exhibit a lot of this pain or suffering and just that stark commentary. So building on that, I chose to focus on his etching and There's Nothing to Be Done y No Hay Remedio, which is from the Disasters of War series. Something I found interesting about this Disasters of War series is that I read it was not published and distributed until like 35 years after his death. So I found that quite intriguing, especially when comparing it to the 3rd of May, because obviously those images share a lot in common with the stance of the firing squad and the, almost like we saw with Napoleonic art of the empire, like this martyr who is an innocent man that is dying. Again, we have this same firing squad in the etching here. And it's showing just a really heavy emotional toll on the viewer to understand these disasters of war, los desastres de la guerra. I want to give that a try. So also there's kind of, with the way that he's tied to this pole in the last 3rd of May, it has Christ-like hands in the air and crucifixion form. This also is sort of a reference to that crucifixion pose, which I find to be really compelling in telling this story. So both of these show the Peninsular War scenes. Both really, or all three really highlight these commentaries on society and Goya's dark outlook. He made art and is considered a romantic artist because there's so much feeling embedded into these images. It is not a simple capturing of a scene. It is meant to evoke a strong emotion. And certainly with knowing, and there's nothing to be done, this man is about to die, and so are these people who are behind him. Those strong emotions are evoked. Oof, it's a heavy one. But Goya is a really powerful artist, and I appreciate that he has a really strong sense of tone in the way that he is easily, like his artwork's really identifiable. And I appreciate that he has a lot to say, and he used his artistic imagination to, even though in a dark way, say it. And yeah, I think that's pretty powerful. So here's my source for today, and that's what I have for the art of Francisco Goya.